the number one expense that you are going to have to make sure you set up is a very, very high end lawyer. So get very, very high end lawyers, get very, very nasty lawyers, pay them really well, and never be afraid to take them out of your pocket. Talking about the legal and regulatory aspects of scaling a medical business, it's extremely important to make sure that you have a good lawyer and a lawyer that's actually licensed in the state that you're going to build your clinic in, or they have worked in the states that you're going to expand your clinic in. We worked with multiple different companies over the years. One of them is named Dykema, Dykema, great legal team. Another one that we've used, his name is Bird Adato, and it's run by Brad and Sam. That's a great, great legal team. They own AmSpa and have helped us really organize our company as well as get our company ready for scale. And this is actually when we're already at scale. One of the biggest things that we made the mistake of at the beginning was being our own lawyers, definitely doing our own paperwork, our own setups, etc., things like that. So we want to make sure you want to make sure that you have a very, very good legal team. One of the biggest treatments over the years that we have avoided, and we did it at the beginning, so I'm not knocking it, is stem cells and more specific allogeneic stem cells. So those are from something else, whether that's umbilical cord stem cells, placental stem cells, any type of these stem cells, the FDA does not like. Autologous from your own body stem cells, the FDA doesn't like, but they still don't have control over it. Now, with allogeneic stem cells and autologous stem cells, they both work phenomenally. The science is there. They are very, very effective and efficient. However, there are rules in the United States that don't allow you to what's called expand stem cells or grow stem cells, etc., to the point where if you want to get the best results for stem cell treatments or with stem cell treatments, you definitely should be leaving the country. Don't get me wrong. Brent and I started Genesis Lifestyle Medicine under another name called Cell Spark Regenerative Centers, and we used to do stem cells all the time. This was years and years and years ago when the FDA wasn't so staunchly opposed to it. When they became staunchly opposed to it, we had already pivoted away from it years before that because we knew that that was coming. That was going to be the next step, the next thing that was coming down the line. So we stayed away from it. We still stay away from things that are questionable. Why? Because when you go to sell your business to a private equity company, a venture capitalist company, take your company public, anything, they are going to look at all the ins and outs of your business. And they're going to see, is there anything that is borderline? Is there anything that has had a lot of buzz or the government doesn't like? And when they find out that you are doing stem cells in your clinic, you're going to have a very hard time selling it at a higher multiple because that is considered a highly risky investment from whoever's trying to buy you. As a result of that, we knew we wanted to grow, we knew we wanted to expand, and we knew at some point we wanted to take on investment money from a private equity company in order for us as a company to grow and get to that next level. That's what Ideal Image has done, Laser Away done, Skin Spirit has done, all the big boys in our field. We want to be a big boy. And as a result of that, we are staying away from the things that could get us in trouble or the FDA could not like. This has been confirmed through a couple of private equity companies that we've talked to who had a chance to invest in a company called QC Kinetics, a company that does stem cells. And as a result of that, we learned that a lot of the PE companies said that they weren't interested in franchising or buying that company because of the FDA's opinion on stem cell therapies. Therefore, it would tighten the amount of people they could sell to, franchise with, grow from, etc. So that was confirmed in our thinking when we started to talk business to business on that. The second thing is making sure that you are avoiding at all costs experimental medications. This is what every clinic owner starts to try and think about or crosses your mind at some point, because what happens is that you look at all the cost of goods that you are spending on medications, on drugs, on PRP treatments, etc., and you start to think, man, if I could just cut the costs here. And As a clinic owner, we get emails every single day. Buy this from China, buy this from online, buy this from, Bangladesh, etc. When it comes to medical treatments, injectables, machinery, etc. There is always a cheaper version. Now, that being said, those cheaper versions 99.9% of the time are illegal. They're not FDA cleared. They're produced in weird ways and they will get you in trouble. If you look up, we're in 2024 Botox poisoning. This was a huge thing that just came out over the last few months where people were ordering and using Botox from China. And this happens all the time in the med spa world. They were ordering it from China because it was cheaper, it was tainted, it got a ton of people sick, killed a couple people. And this is something that you always have to fight against in the med spa world is bad actors doing bad things. And I think that's in any type of business. There's always going to be those. But conveying to your staff and conveying to your clients that you are focused on the highest quality, taking care of them, spending the money on the cost of goods to have the best outcomes and the best results. That's what you want to do. Because as a result of that, your business is going to grow and you're going to avoid potential lawsuits working with illegal substances, illegal drugs, etc. We always want to make sure that you're hiring a lawyer that is a contract lawyer that can help you with the hiring and firing process. You want a lawyer who is a litigation lawyer. That way, if a client threatens to sue you, you have a lawyer who can counter or reach out to that client and make sure that their concerns are taken care of or they're gotten rid of as a client and they're taken care of from the legal standpoint. And then you want to make sure you have, as you grow, a mergers and acquisitions lawyer or a brokerage type lawyer who's going to help you through the sales process. So you're going to have multiple different lawyers as you grow. One of the things we've had to teach our staff members is customer service is one of our core values. And we try and make every single client happy that walks in the door. However, as soon as a client threatens to sue us or to obtain legal representation against our company, then the conversation with that client is over. And as a result, we teach our staff to simply respond, here is our legal team's information. They give them their name and their email address. Please contact them for any further questions or matters you may have. Have a great day. And they show them to the door. If the patient becomes irate and starts to fight or starts to argue or scream, our staff has been notified to call security or the police. We do not accept that type of attitude from a patient or a client, and neither should you. You want to be able to protect your staff. Your staff needs to feel safe coming to work every day. So you should have an absolute zero tolerance policy for those types of patients and clients in your company. And we have that no tolerance policy. I will eliminate 20 patients over the elimination of one staff member if that staff member is obviously living our core values, doing everything correctly, etc. Now, if they aren't, again, I'd fire them. However, your client is always right is not something that happens in a true staff centered company. All right, so I had to change my shirt because my little girl came in crying and snotted all over the last one. So you guys get it. We'll move. If you have kids, we'll move on. If you have any client who ever threatens to sue you, that conversation is over and you immediately get them over to your legal team to answer, support anything they have to say. Do not continue to respond. If you get reported to the board, the medical board, the number one thing you want to do is hire a specific lawyer who has dealt with the medical board before. They're out there. Google it. Lawyer or litigation lawyer or malpractice lawyer who has worked against or fought against or presented against the medical board. You always want somebody on your side who has gone through it. They know the ins and outs. Do not try and represent yourself ever. Even in the past, I had a disgruntled employee who we fired for core values issues. She never showed up to work on time, had a bad attitude, etc. We let her go and she reported me to the medical board saying that I was shredding patient files in order to escape the FBI. And obviously, it was a ridiculous report, but the medical board, they still have to investigate every single one, especially when it comes to things like that. I had a lawyer immediately, day one, reviewing the case. We went over everything with him. We obviously showed that we had electronic medical records, all these things that were lies. We presented it. No harm, no issues. In fact, when I went to go talk to the medical board was actually asking me questions about other cases because I knew so much in this field. It pays for you to learn all the ins and outs legally of your state, but also have a backup. Have that lawyer there who can run the point, who can answer all the legal questions in the ways that need to be said. Lastly, I had a IT billionaire in the building we used to live in Texas. We lived in this high-rise condo and it had, the ex Pepsi CEO that lived there and the person who had sold Hollywood Video lived there. And it was very, very high level people. And I became friends with one of the people who lived there he was a billionaire who had built a IT company, sold it. He was building a second IT company. And he told me something that I have always brought with me to this day. He said, "The number one expense that you are going to have to make sure you set up or you pay is a very, very high end lawyer. So get very, very high end lawyers, get very, very nasty lawyers, pay them really well, and never be afraid to take them out of your pocket. Whenever you feel an inkling that you need to use a lawyer, get the lawyer, pay them well, and go full send." Now, people will say, well, the only things that happens with lawyers is that they stall and you know what? Only the lawyers win in litigation cases. No, poor people say that. When you have a really strong lawyer, guess what? Your legal fees are paid by essentially whoever you have to go after or whoever you have to sue to protect your company, to protect your staff, to protect your clientele, whatever you need to do. When you unsheath your sword every once in a while, you have to make sure you bring the pain and win. So find great lawyers, pay those great lawyers really well, communicate often with those great lawyers, and do not be afraid to use those great lawyers. That's how we approach the legal and regulatory aspects. As always, I'm not a lawyer. Make sure you hire great representation, and you will never have to worry about getting in trouble or doing anything wrong or misinterpreting the law because you will have these great lawyers backing you up.